Aryna Sabalenka, Coco Gauff, and others face bad sign as Elena Rybakina's dominance draws concern. Elena Rybakina's triumph at Rod Laver Arena was more than just another Grand Slam victory. It felt like a turning point. On a stage where memories can linger and scars can reopen, the Kazakh star confronted her past and rewrote it. 3 years after falling to Aryna Sabalenka at the same stage of the Australian Open, Rybakina flipped the script in emphatic fashion, dethroning the world number one in a gripping three-set battle. 6-4, 4-6, 6-4 as she raised her second Grand Slam trophy. The message rippled through the women's tour. This wasn't a flash of brilliance or a one-off run. This was the arrival, perhaps the confirmation, of a force that is here to stay. Former American pro Steve Johnson didn't mince words when discussing Rybakina's rise, issuing a stark warning to the rest of the elite. "It is a bad sign for the women at the top of the game," Johnson said on the Tennis Channel, "because she is here to stay. Redemption, authority, and a new hierarchy." Rybakina's Australian Open campaign carried the weight of expectation, but also opportunity. Known for her calm demeanor and ruthless power, she showcased a level of composure that separated her from the pack. Against Sabalenka, arguably the most intimidating force in women's tennis over the past 2 seasons, Rybakina absorbed pressure, dictated rallies, and struck when it mattered most. What made the win so significant wasn't just the opponent, but the manner. Rybakina didn't rely solely on raw power. She problem-solved, weathered momentum swings, and trusted her game in the biggest moments. For a player once labeled as dangerous but inconsistent, this was a statement of maturity. Johnson believes that distinction is crucial. "She's not just a contender anymore," he explained. "She's going to be the favorite for trophies. I think there's going to be a couple more big trophies in her future this season." For players like Aryna Sabalenka and Coco Gauff, who have traded dominance at the top of the rankings, Rybakina's evolution signals a potential shift in the status quo. The best version of Elena Rybakina. What makes Rybakina's rise particularly unsettling for her rivals is that she may only be getting better. Johnson was emphatic in his assessment of her current level. "This is the best I've seen her play," even stating that back to when she won Wimbledon a few years ago. This has just been a continued success for her. That continuity matters. In recent seasons, women's tennis has often been defined by streaks. Players peaking briefly before injuries, fatigue, or confidence dips intervene. Rybakina, however, appears to be building something more sustainable. Her game has sharpened across all surfaces, and her mental steadiness has become a hallmark. Numbers that tell a scary story. Statistics rarely lie, and Rybakina's numbers paint a daunting picture for the rest of the tour. She has now won 10 straight matches against top 10 opponents, an extraordinary run in a field known for depth and unpredictability. Even more striking is how she's doing the Australian Open. Rybakina fired 47 aces, the most in the women's draw by a wide margin. The next closest, Wang Xinyu and Aryna Sabalenka, finished with 27. That serving dominance gives her a built-in advantage, especially in tight matches where free points can decide sets. But it's not just about power. Rybakina has also shown a growing ability to win extended rallies, defend when necessary, and transition smoothly from baseline exchanges to finishing points at the net. That combination, serve dominance plus rally tolerance, is what makes her such an ominous matchup. Week in, week out, just going out there, beating the best players in the world, Johnson noted. And she just doesn't get phased here. She looks like she's getting more and more comfortable on that stage. Trouble ahead for Sabalenka, Gauff, and the elite for Aryna Sabalenka. The loss stings not only because it ended her title defense, but because it exposed a rival who can consistently match, and sometimes surpass, her physicality. For Coco Gauff, still navigating the balance between explosive athleticism and tactical discipline, Rybakina represents a benchmark of what sustained excellence looks like. Others in the top tier, Jessica Pegula, Iga Swiatek, Onjaber, now face a tour where Rybakina is no longer a dark horse but a central figure. Beating her will require near-perfect execution, especially on faster courts where her serve and flat ground strokes thrive. In no time to slow down, perhaps most telling of all is that Rybakina isn't pausing to celebrate. In just a week, she returns to action at the WTA 1000 events in Qatar and Dubai, tournaments where conditions suit her game and where she'll likely enter as a favorite. If her Australian Open form carries over, the warning signs Johnson referenced may soon become reality. Elena Rybakina isn't chasing the top anymore. She's setting the pace. And for Sabalenka, Gauff, and the rest of the women's elite, that might be the most troubling development of all.